Hello there. Only One Kenobi here, only one. I do hope you can hear me. We are live, and I have some guests as well backstage who I'm going to be bringing on momentarily. Let's pause that bad boy. There we go. How are you doing? Do you know what? Let's get them on one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a person whose dioramas are a work of art. Let's make a start because he's sweet as an angel's fart. It's Daniel Chart, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody.
How are you doing? Guest number one. Guest number two is Solo Shut First, Mike.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. And finally, we've got two Southerners, right? We need to bring in a Northerner here. It's Mark Shabby.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
You're right, mate. Hey, mate.
Hiya,
hey,
Dan.
listen,
Hiya,
mate.
Mike.
Hello, Shabby. You all right?
Hello, Shab.
Hiya, pal.
Brilliant stuff. Do you know what, fellas? Like, when I watched the intro there, I don't know if it's because we've had Kenobi and all that. I was just sort of like feeling it, you know. It's been a good couple of days or whatever. We've had Kenobi, and I was just looking at the intro there and thinking about, you know, what's coming next. But we'll be talking about that and more, obviously, in the show. Also on the agenda, we'll be talking plastic because I haven't really done a lot of that. The future of the TVC and all that. And do you know, again, as usual, I've just got a few questions that I've been asked a couple of weeks ago now, actually, but I'll play those and then that will sort of instigate a conversation. So there's no real set plan, fellas, other than let's just take it as it comes. And they're the two topic areas we want to talk about, a bit of Kenobi and a bit of plastic, TVC gate, you know, which is a bit of a worry and it's on everyone's mind, really. So, yeah. Does that sound good, fellas?
Sounds awesome.
Great.
All right.
Absolutely.
Good. And also, again, welcome, Shabby. This is the first time you've ever been on, is it? Or were you on at Christmas? I can't remember now.
I think I came on at Christmas, but this is the first
Yeah.
time I've done this only one fans. I love this show. It's awesome.
Well, this is a bit of a cop out here, you know what I mean? A bit of a cop out because it's like, you know, this is just a live version. there's no editing or whatever has to go into this one. But, you know, no, it's nice to do a live show, seriously, though. And speaking of which, we've got a lot of people watching here live. So we're going to do a little bit of a see who's about. And let's have a look. We've got the Roo here. The early bird catches the worm. He's been there for some time. John Maguire. We've got Ray Dunkley. See, it's the usual suspects you see who come and join in live. Tony Z. Stay tuned, Tony Z. You've got a cameo coming up soon. Des T. How you doing, Des? We've got Rob, C3PO Concepts, Tim Bainbridge, Smoke. Uh-oh. Trigger warning. It's Christian from Smuggler's Canyon. Hello, mate. Hello, mate. Mr. ASMR himself is here. How you doing? How you doing, Christian, man? This is the show for... why can't I get him on? There you go. There he is. Good evening, all. Only sporadic comments from me, sadly, but I'm here watching. That's my impression of you, by the way, Christian. You're hearing it live on air. Brilliant stuff. All right. So who else we got? We've got Daniel Chart. Well, he's also one of the guests, so I don't know what he's doing.
That's my twin brother.
Like a Bantha. We've got Death Watch. I love that. Like a Bantha. We could talk some Book of Boba Fett later. Delvian, Seek, and Destroy. DTM Collectibles. And we've got Brett on Fett. Nice. What is this? I can't tell you what that comment means there. What's this? I got NOTJ for this when I'm not subbed. Oh,
Notification.
I see.
Must be.
Tim
Yeah.
Cambridge, Stephen Taylor, straight out of Coruscant, man. Hello there, man. And then we've got Richie Review. How are you doing, only one? Very good. Very good. And we're going to just crack on with this, fellas, I think. So anyway, just before we do crack on, got a few questions and stuff. But what's the word, fellas? Let's go round very quickly around the horn. And how are we doing? Daniel Chart, start us off, man. How's it going?
Very good, very good, very good. Been a good week for Star Wars, actually, I think, with Kenobi starting. And my son and I went to Forbidden Planet today up London. So, yeah, we've had a good day. We've had a good day. He's picked up some stuff he wants. And, yeah, everyone's happy.
Good stuff. Michael.
Yeah, good, Nick. Other than when the massive credit card bill came in for a load of pre-orders that have turned up.
Oh, I know, yeah. And you see, and what am I doing, Mike? I put a big bid on something on eBay last night. It was something I should have really, I need it. It's a variant, but I should be holding back because same with me, man. The bills are coming thick and fast from certain sources, ID Toys and blah, blah, blah. And
exactly. I did get a shock this week, I've got to admit.
Got it. And then, and finally, Mark Shabby.
Hey, what a great week it's been, though, for Star Wars, hasn't it? The celebration was good. All the reveals were good. Can't go wrong. Kenobi was, we'll talk about it, like you said, but it was awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What were the highlights like for the other days? I only saw the first day highlights, which I didn't. I said Ian McKellen the other day when I was chatting with Daniel Chad. He was like, "What, Ian McKellen?" No, Ian McDermott. I saw him and a few other things, but I forgot to turn it on the next day, so I don't really know who appeared.
Everyone's been on. I mean, you've had the cast of the Mandalorian. They haven't really shown any of the major panels, though. They probably will next week. So they've only shown a couple of panels, but not the major ones. But Pedro Pascal came on. Rosario Dawson and the Kenobi cast. What do you say?
My mate sent me like a Bantha. Tem, he was on, wasn't he? I'd like to see that one.
Well, he burst out into song as well. He came on, for the actual Star Wars panel, and he just started singing. And I thought, what's he doing?
I think he'd had a few.
I think he'd had a few, yeah.
Had a few in the green room, I think.
The bit my mate sent me was when he was saying, "You can all come to New Zealand. Come to New Zealand." Fantastic. Brilliant.
So Ewan McGregor was getting everybody at it as well, saying that there was six episodes, and then there's 7 episodes, 8 episodes, 9 episodes, and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, we're going to get there's only 6 episodes. There isn't any more than 10. He was pulling everybody's plumber, I think.
I like this comment here. Old Ben was kung fu fighting. That Jedi was fast as lightning. Well, absolutely. But don't forget how I remember in the cinema watching Attack of the Clones when he threw in a few kicks there, speaking of Tamora Morrison. And I thought, wow, it's just so unexpected. You know what I mean? It's like a fist fight.
Yeah,
almost.
it is for him.
Brilliant, that. Really good. So, yeah, what I'll do is, guys, I've got a couple of questions. I'll play them, and we'll just try and wherever we can, just sort of like we'll get onto the topics that we want to talk about. Should we do that now? I'll tell you what, I'll just resume the video and we'll have a listen to this first question. This is a question, right? This first one that I was asked, and I tried to put it in my normal show, and I couldn't whittle it down to any less than 5 minutes. And it was just quite long. And I thought, well, I'll tell you what, I'll leave it for a live show where we can discuss it with guests. So it's all applicable across the board. But he's asking me, but technically, we're asking all of you what you think about this. And I think the first one is, it's Stuart. He's a patron of mine. Here he comes now. Classic old Ben House there. That's the best one, isn't it? Usual Mike uses the other one.
Hi, Nick. Question for you. If Hasbro approached you and said that they wanted you to work in any department on their Star Wars line and given you free reign over that department, would you take the job? What department would you choose? And what would you do to influence and better that department?
Great question. But I thought it's a good one because we can straight away, get into what we should and could be doing, or what they could and should be doing at Hasbro. So what department and whatever, what would be a focus? Well, should I go first, fellas? Might as well kick this thing off. Well, obviously, you don't want to ever be biased. You've got to realize there's other people out there. It's not just about you, but I would obviously make a focus personally to get the bloody 96 finished, because that's what this vintage collection, and I'm looking at it right now. Sorry you can't see me. I've got it all around me here, TVC, and the heart and soul of it is the original line, the original trilogy. I do like it when they bring in other stuff from different properties, be it the prequels or the new stuff going on, you know, the new property, whatever you want to call it. You don't like it when we say new media, do you, Mike? So what do we say?
No, I do not.
We just call it the new shows or whatever.
Exactly.
Preferably if it's something like along the lines of the good stuff, like Mando or whatever. But you know, I was chatting with Tim from Bosk's Bounty a couple of days ago, and he was saying something about the fact that what he likes is the fact that if Kenner were here today, what would they be pumping out? Well, it wouldn't just be the original stuff. It would be the new stuff, you know, the new films like it was back in '83. They're pumping out Return of the Jedi stuff, as well as reissuing other things. So I quite like the aspects of it. But I just feel that, especially now with this bloody plastic issue, that I feel frantic about this. We need to get certain things finished and done and dusted on a card with a bubble, given that whole thing is hanging by a thread, it seems. Unless you guys have got any other evidence to throw our way, it's on its way out, isn't it? So
it's listen. With regard to the bubble things, we don't know in terms of the question from a department point of view. Crikey, I've worked in sales and marketing 28 years.
Hey, apprentice, you what?
Listen, I know I'm a little bit biased here because obviously I have a very specific focus in terms of 3.75 inch, and I know obviously, you know, the Black Series plays a big part. But what I struggle to comprehend or get my head round in some aspects is the fact that they don't necessarily listen. There are loads of people doing videos on YouTube, on YouTube, and that's brilliant, no problem at all. But that's part of the community, and the success of the line since it's come back has been phenomenal. And yet, you then go, you know, you then see things that are put up for example, the next Haslab project. And I know I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not trying to be objective or being a pain in the arse. You know, where they put up this lightsaber or whatever it is as a Haslab project at 450 quid in the UK. I question the. Now listen, I'm not saying it's.
Do you know what, mate? It doesn't even spin, does it? I'm so sorry to cut in, Mike. I thought this thing span, but it doesn't.
I don't know. I don't think we've seen too much of what it will or won't do. But the point being is,
should do.
Is you know, I'm not, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not having a go at the marketing guys per se here, because I think this comes from above, from Hasbro point of view. You know.
Yeah, but there's not much thought in it, is there, Mike? To be honest, I like.
No, exactly.
You know,
exactly, Shabby. This is the point. But it's like, if you look at, and I don't mean to just go on the Haslab thing, but okay, you can argue, like, if you look at what people have said from a collector point of view, like if you're looking at 3.7, people have said, "Oh, give us a Ewok village, give us a cantina, give us a Sandcrawler," all those sort of things. And the two projects that they've done massively well on, obviously the Sail Barge, which we all know is restricted in terms of limited numbers, but the Razor Crest sold out, and you know, it got its backers in 1.5 days or something silly. I just don't quite get my head around like the marketing teams in terms of, you know, they've got stuff that will sell easily sell and sell out tenfold, and yet we get given ideas and concepts of things that you just think, why? That's I can't get my head around that. I genuinely can't.
Well, it makes you think too, though, Mike, because I mean, $500 for a Razor Crest, that kind of makes sense. Nearly $500 for a lightsaber when you've been selling them from $140 to $250. You know, especially the main. I'm like, you know, and you know, it's not even a legacy lightsaber, is it? I mean, granted, the Inquisitor lightsabers are awesome, but it's like what Nick just said. He doesn't even spin this thing. I thought the middle lit up as well, like the circle. And that
that's why I thought it cost so much money, because this thing was going to have that one feature that one lightsaber offers the whole universe of Star Wars, which is it spins. But it didn't. Yeah,
but not just that. But not just that, guys. If you just take it a step back, Okay, essentially what they're doing is they're putting that product out, hoping theoretically on the success of the Kenobi series, because although obviously yes, we've seen Inquisitors in other things, you know, this is the first time you've sort of seen it on, if you want to call it in a film or a series or whatever, you know, other than animated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yet you've got all of these projects that you could have taken, but you've got this huge worldwide fan base, okay, that have seen obviously all of these other films, and you could have taken any number of vehicles or whatever else you wanted to do, play sets, whatever, which would have automatically garnered 100% interest. If, for example, down the line, and I'm not saying it will, I mean, you know, we're all Star Wars fans and people watching the channel are all Star Wars fans. So they're always going to like, to a degree, okay, Kenobi. For example, like, I like Book of Boba Fett. I didn't like all of it. I thought some of it was pretty rubbish, but there were elements of it that I thought were good. So, but they've based this whole project on the fact that they're hoping this is going to be a really, really good series, and people are going to buy into the back of it on the back of that. When you've got millions, and I mean millions and millions of Star Wars fans that would buy into a project that's already been done. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like vehicles or whatever it might be, which would instantly sell straight like hotcakes straight away. It beggars. In my opinion, I mean, I know. Listen, I know I'm rambling again.
No. To hear your thoughts, Mike. This is what this show is about. You know, keep going.
It just seems very, very odd. Now,
the way I work it out, Mike, is if you ask every Star Wars fan, especially us collectors, name your top 3 Haslabs you'd like to see, I don't think any of them would have been a lightsaber.
No, of course they wouldn't. You're right, absolutely right.
We have them. You know, they've got their own line. You know, and obviously. Galaxy's Edge, they do their own legacy sabers. You can get the Black Series sabers. So I think for a Haslab, I don't think any of us would have said, "Oh, I can't wait to visit a lightsaber."
There's nothing different about it, is the Shabby? Than it's like it's just as big, or well, it's got more parts, say, than a Maul saber, but essentially it's the same thing, isn't it?
Do any of you guys
if it's fan, though, if it had some sort of device to spin it?
I have the Jedi. I have the Luke Jedi, the Green Jedi,
right?
Black Series lightsaber. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't got any lightsabers.
How much did that cost you, though, Shabby?
Oh, well, I bought it at the start, so it was $150 when it first came out.
Right.
And that's the only one I wanted. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jedi Knight Luke, so obviously I got that one.
Yeah.
But then they started to go up in price, and you're looking at $240, $265. You know, granted, the ones at Galaxy's Edge are going to be more expensive because it's Disney, but. Over here in America, it's $495 plus tax. So you're over $500 for a lightsaber.
I think it's I think it was about $460. Was that right, guys?
Yeah, around there.
Crazy.
It just actually emitted a blade.
So odd,
you know.
Odd. Yeah. Did you see the backers that they need as well? They're only asking for 5,000 backers. So that's it on this one.
They're not going to get anywhere near that.
I can't see.
Well, that's the thing. They probably will, though. What was it they wanted for the Rancor? That they wanted, was it 10 minimum or something?
9,000 for the start.
Right.
And they would have got them if they had decent unlocks.
I agree.
That was weird. That was a weird night. That I remember that night when they revealed all that, and I was scratching my head. I was on my way out. I remember that night, and it was like, you know, I was wearing a tuxedo. Anyway, but I remember thinking, what is this? It was a weird selection.
Nick, sorry to jump in again.
That's all right.
I know you say, "Oh, this is
no."
But what I would personally, I struggle to understand is, look, I understand why there is a push on the Black Series side of things, because look, loads of people love the Black Series, and I'm not against it in any way, shape, or form. I really am not. I do have a few Black Series figures, not many, to be fair. Obviously, TVC and even 5BOA is my bag, but it's almost like they want a Black Series Haslab project to succeed. Now, that doesn't come from a marketing team. That comes from higher above.
But, I mean, as a Black Series collector, you know, like you boys collect vintage collectors.
I know you are, Sam. Exactly, yeah. Go on.
I would rather have, for Haslab, I'd rather keep it vintage collection. You can do a lot more with that. I mean, you know, you looked at the Snow Speeder and for Black Series, that came out at 120. But since then, which was, 2 years ago, there's been no Black Series vehicles. And I'm kind of happy with that, because I don't want to spend so much money on a Haslab for Black Series when you could do, I don't know, Ray Speed or the Land Speeder like they've done, you know, like a speeder bike, keep them at $50 to $100. But Haslab should be for vintage collection, and it should be things like, I mean, I don't understand why the Jabba's Palace wasn't a Haslab, you know, considering the price that it is, or like we said before, either a Dagobah playset, or how much would we all love a new Ewok village? I would love an Ewok village now, you know, and that should be a Haslab. And I think,
okay, Shabby, as a 6-inch collector, obviously, like you are, for example, in a big way. If like Haslab were going to do a project and no holds barred, for example, what would you have liked it to have been if it was a 6-inch?
If it was 6-inch, you see, I would like to have had a bigger diorama, something like the Rebel base on Yavin 4, something like that, you know, something big and cool so you can display your figures. That snow speeder, I mean, I've got the snow speeder, and it's massive, you can't put it anywhere, but with a diorama, you could stick it on a shelf and, you know, work around that, you know, a bit like what Dan makes. I'd like something like that in a 6-inch, but look at the ones we get.
Black Series 6-inch scale carbon freezing chamber would be good.
Perfect.
What about ATST?
It'd be
massive,
though,
ATST. I mean, we've got vehicles, difficult to do vehicles in a proper scale to fit the 6-inch.
Because, you know, you could argue that it is that, because I say there as in us and them, but you know what I mean? It is their turn to some extent, because the other thing didn't get backed, so we still haven't had a Black Series.
It is, but that's what puts people off, Nick. I mean, you're looking at $500 for a Razor Crest. Can you imagine how much an attack would be in 6-inch? It'd be an absolute fortune, you know?
What I mean by that, Shab, is I was a bit disappointed that it hadn't swung back to us, and it was like now a chance of maybe a Sandcrawler, which, you know, I mean, I'd love to go on record and say that would get backed and done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because it's just a classic.
It would be backed in a day, Nick.
It would, though.
You're right. And you've got to be careful what you say, because this is going down. You don't want it to age badly. But to be honest with you, it would, wouldn't it? It would get back.
If you were asking for example, if you base it on the fact that, let's just say you based it on the price of the sail barge, which was, what was the sail barge?
400, wasn't it at the time? 500?
Oh no, it's 650 or something for us.
Yeah, but that included your postage, Nick.
Yeah, of course, Mike. Yeah, and the import and all that from the.
So let's just call it say £500, which is not shy of what you're talking about here for a Black Series lightsaber.
I know that is a lot of money, isn't it?
A lot of money. It really is.
I think. Do you know what? I haven't even registered with the fact that, I mean, it's massively expensive for that. I was more concerned with the fact it didn't spin. But sorry, I'm cutting in on you here, Mike. But yeah,
no. I'm merely saying, Nick, if you're saying it's, you know, you're shy of £40, and if you said a Sandcrawler was going to cost £500, and you wanted 5,000 backers, I'd be pretty astonished if you didn't get that within like 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just going to say to Chris here, Chris Toys of Jedi, I've never, ever, Chris, been interested in buying a Sandcrawler. In fact, I was at Mouse Gear in Epcot Center, Florida, and my mate Mike, who's now on this show now, was saying, why didn't you buy it, Nick? And there was one reason, Chris, and it was because I'm not interested in vehicles that don't really match the scale. And this thing looked tiny, exactly. You know. With Haslab, you've got that opportunity to like give a barge sort of styly, and make like a double-decker barge. I've got a vision of this Sandcrawler being like. And then, of course, you've got packings. You could have all sorts of packings. Someone even suggested you could have the Crate Dragon. That would be a nice little thing. You could have that.
Yeah, but that's a thought, though. That's the thing. I mean, this Sandcrawler is a lot more, you know, you've got to think about that a lot more than a lightsaber. I mean, they ship out 2 or 3 lightsabers a year, and now there's one at Haslab. That's the part that doesn't make sense. You know, the Razor Crest kind of does make sense because we've never actually seen one retail. You can only get it through Haslab, but lightsabers you can get wherever. Do you know what I mean?
I think you've also got to take into consideration with the Sandcrawler is we've never had one, like Nick said, close to a proper scale.
Exactly, Dan.
And we've never had one with really good detail in it and movie accuracy and all the trimmings, you know. And with a Haslab, they could give us one, like the Razor Crest.
Exactly. The thing is with and bless him, Chris. It wasn't. I'm not saying. Obviously, Chris, Toys of the Jedi. I'm not saying it'd be a given, but I just think it would, because if you look at what people have wanted in terms of when, like, you see chats or people talk about things, exactly the same. For example, with an Ewok village. I mean, it's not what you would class as. Oh well, you know, that's a given. You know,
Right.
but just because of the nature of the age group of the collectors now, I just think that sort of thing would absolutely smash it as a Haslab as well.
We'd all buy it though, Mike. That's the thing. I mean, it's like I said, I've got
the
vintage collection and the thing, but if I, you know, my focus, like I said, is Black Series. But if they came out with an Ewok village, I would put my name down for that, because it's something so iconic. Something we've not had since '83. You know, I think I've got to get this.
Shabby, you just hit the nail on the head. It's the iconic thing, and it's the nostalgia. You're playing on the nostalgia thing. But you know, that as the you know, the collectors that we are, whether it be 3.75, 6 inch, that is what you would, you know, it's exactly that. That's what you would want. You know, I'd love it. I'd buy any of those things. You know what I mean? So,
well, you see, that's one of the things about I mean, the cell barge, I loved it. I mean, when you look at the cell barge, it hits us all. We're all roughly around the same age, and it hits every one of us. The Razor Crest, I thought, was amazing. What a great ship, but it didn't hit me in the feels for me to back it, over the simple reason it's a new thing to me.
Yeah.
A lightsaber from an Inquisitor, that's not hitting any feels at all, you know, but an Ewok village was. So.
But that, again, Shabby, that goes back to, you know, that's why I question, or not question or worry. You know, it is about, you know, are they looking at it from the point of view of they want the success of the Kenobi? And listen, at the end of the day, listen, what they're producing, you know, from Disney point of view, Disney Plus, giving us all new material and all these additional streams is fantastic, so no one's going to question that. But it is almost like you know, you get this sense that they want, I don't know, it just almost seems like they want to pin something to a Black Series thing that needs to be successful, to make it work, which I don't know. That's why I asked you, you know, if you had a choice, like you said, look, they could give you a relatively, I'm not saying a full scale cantina, of course they couldn't on 6 inch, but they could give you a pretty decent scaled size type thing, couldn't they? That would work.
Yeah.
Think, well, that might get backed. I don't know. That's what I said about if you had a Black Series project, what would you like it to be? You know, it's so difficult.
But it was, because that's why I thought that was going to happen. It's like going. Yeah, you're right, Dan. It's like going back to the snowspeed I was saying. We've not had a vehicle since then, and there's tons of them that you could do. You know, you could do that patrol vehicle that was in Rogue, in Solo, or how many little land speeders you could do. Solo speed.
Attack of the Clones, Jedi Starfighter, Shabby.
Arc Trooper. You can imagine an Arc Trooper speeder. The amount of clones that's come out for Black Series, an Arc speeder would have been fantastic to have. But it's like they've completely stopped it. One of the things I thought was, well, they've stopped it because they're introducing it into Haslab. But, you know, we still haven't seen it. We've just seen a lightsaber, which is nice, but Haslab nice. I'm not sure about that.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, what do you reckon of that, though, Shabby? You know, the Jedi Starfighter, the first one, anyway. That's really dinky. That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've still got every one of my 3.75s, all my vintage collection and all loose figures, and that was one of my favourite ships. It's a great ship. That's one that's still in my toy room, that chart stuff. That would have been fantastic as a 6-inch toy. But my concern is, if it does get back, this lightsaber, where do they go from there? Because they're going to turn around now and say, oh, we can do anything here. And they're going to back it. Do you see what I mean? So...
On a side note, then, Shabby, I know this sounds really bizarre. I don't even know where I'm going here, because this is completely left field. If that got backed, do you think you could see sort of cosplay stuff sort of designed in that sort of line? I don't know.
Well, it's going to make you think, though, isn't it, Mike? I mean, they're going to turn around and they're going to say to themselves in a meeting, right, we've just sold a $500 lightsaber here. What's next? You know, and that's the thing. I mean, I understand if you took Darth Maul's lightsaber, which was roughly around 140 when that came out, but even that, buying the two together, or Sarge Ventures's that they introduced a couple of years ago, that it's 250, 300 quid, doesn't it? 500 quid. So if it does get back, you never know what they'll do next. You know, pair of wellies.
Well, since we're talking about it, I might just put it on actually, just to see where we're up to. We're back in. So if you just bear with me, fellas, I can share screen. So let's have a look and see what I can do here for you.
Because I was going to say, it did get quite a few backers in the first couple of hours, didn't it? I believe.
That's probably because of celebration.
About 700 or 600 or something. I
didn't know if it was that much. I thought it might have been like
400.
I saw. 400.
I might be well wrong.
At the beginning, now it's up to about 600 or 700, I think.
Okay, I might be well wrong. Sorry.
Let's have a look and see.
Like
Let's see whether it'll tell us, won't it? Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I mean, as I said,
what's it got? What's it saying?
774 backers. Long time to go.
$500. See what I mean, lads? $500. So with tax, you're looking at about $525. Then shipping. Oh, that's expensive.
So what you get with it? It's like you get this thing here. Obviously, you get the semicircle thing, the stand or whatever. It's all inclusive, isn't it? Really, there's no. I don't know what they're.
You got, I think you get
nice
semicircles, don't you? I think as well.
Yeah, the finish is quite, really nice of it, but you'd think they would just do this in a standard line or whatever. I don't know. I was just really surprised. Yeah, just jacked up the price, whatever, because it's obviously got more to it. Say like the Maul scenario, you know. I bought that
Dark Saber last year, Nick, that came out. That's $250 less than that is. Yeah, I'd rather have that Dark Saber.
Yeah, I got the Obi-Wan saber. I missed out. I think Star Action Figures were doing it much lower than anyone else, and I got it with Pulse in the end. I think the price for that now is like, more than I remember paying. I think it's like $299, or maybe I was looking at the dollars. I don't know, but still, I got that because I've got to get that. I've always wanted an Obi-Wan one, but yeah. Anyway, what am I doing here? Let's have a look and see if we can find that. Actually, what we got here? Hang on a minute. Sound like Matt there, Universal. Yeah, Universal Collector Matt. Yeah, just sort of, talking in the microphone like that. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here, fellas. Sod it. Let's get off there. Right. Anyway, should we crack on, boys? Let's have another question or something. Let's move it. Oh, hello. Speaking of Universal Shabby reviews, we've got Tez Rollins in the chat there. Yeah, I should have brought my ukulele in, Tez. Can you hear me, Tez? Of course you can. I should have brought my ukulele in here. I could have had a quick blast of. I might run and get it later, maybe. Does that sound like David Brent? What's he say? Don't get the guitar. He went home to get it, or whatever. I was going to say, do you remember they were Pally Boys? No, I've got to get I'll get the ukulele later. We'll have a proper rendition of that. Anyway, okay, let's share the screen. Let's get back onto this thing here. Right, share screen. I can't remember. This next question is, you're going to have to listen into this. He's quite quiet. I don't know what's going on with he's got it gets louder though. His microphone on his phone or whatever is quite quiet. But anyway, just listen into this one, fellas.
Do you think collecting is more of a hassle today than fun? I mean, back in the day, we used to have Force Friday. We would go into these stores on Force Friday. There'd be pallets of figures, and pretty much everybody could get almost any figure they wanted to at that time. Now it just seems like we have to keep track of pre-orders and what we pre-ordered, and are we going to get these exclusives? And where in the past it just seems like even the exclusives were a lot more easier to get a hold of. So my question for you is, do you think collecting today is more of a hassle than it was in the past, where it just seemed like it was a lot more fun and stress-free? Thank you.
Great.
So again, again. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Again, with that one, I tried to attempt to answer that, and I ended up blabbering on for 5 or 6 minutes. But so I thought, well, let's roll it over and have a discussion about it. Yeah, you're right, Shab. It is a good question. And would anyone like to take this one before I sort of chuck in my 2 penneth?
I don't mind jumping in very quickly first. I'll just say, sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to jump in, by the way.
Thanks for the super chat there. Canadian dollars, 279. Thank you, Darth Wizzy Wizard. Speaking of voice messages, we have a good little back and forth, me and him, on Instagram. So cheers, Wizzy. Thank you for that. And sorry, back to you, Michael.
No worries at all. I don't hunt for anything in a shop now, which probably takes away a little bit from thinking, oh, you go out and look for stuff. But
Yeah,
I literally just, you see things come up for pre-order, or this is what's coming up, and I like it or you don't, and everything is purely for me now done 100% online.
yeah,
that's what I'll say.
I'll just say on the back of that, Mike, that's the same with me when I was thinking about how to answer this. I don't feel stressed because I just, you get it straight away or whatever. It's as fast as you can. The only time I've ever failed with that was the Hasbro Pulse Stormtroopers, the 4-pack. If you weren't a Pulse member, you have no chance of getting them. So I don't feel a stress as such. It's more like the only stress is, hassle is the word he used. Don't feel a hassle. I feel more of a stress. Number one, if stuff comes damaged, which is, rarely, in fairness to the distributors. But also, I feel stressed. You know what, fellas? I felt stressed when I walked into a Smith's Toys not long ago. Not only did they have very little Star Wars, which depressed me, but they had stuff just swinging on the peg. And I thought to myself, no one's going to buy this. Vintage collection stuff, sadly to say. I just can't see. Because I was in a Smith's, right? And I rarely go to Smith's and places like that. But it's a kid's store. And I can't see kids, sadly to say, buying figures that expensive at that size when they've got all this other choice, Black Series, and they've got the other stuff. What is it now? The Mission Fleet, maybe, all those choices. And plus, I just thought it's probably been there forever and no one's touched it. Am I right? Or I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a hassle either. It's just different. It changed. You used to be able to walk into a Toys R Us or a Smith's or a toy shop and pick and choose which figures you wanted. There were plenty on the pegs. Not so much now. So we all tend to lean towards online retailers and pre-orders and things. And I suppose the only stress and hassle with that is sometimes you do get a few dinged cards or damaged bubbles or whatnot, and you have to change them. But yeah, it's just different now, isn't it? It's not the same as it used to be.
Well, then you've got this thing as well, Dan, you see, with dings and stuff like that. I hope if Smuggler's Canyon you're listening still, you need to talk about the movie line RIP. But I loved the previous movie line, if you want to call it that, the bog standard run-of-the-mill lines that happened, like the Saga Legends line. That was good. The figures inside them were really good. They were fully articulated and, just as good or up there with the likes of Vintage Collection, although they would probably be better painted and stuff. But what my problem has always been the lack of articulation, I think, for certain characters, not political figures, but more troopers. When you can't bend their elbows and stuff like that, I just thought, why are you doing that other than to save money? But I do miss those other lines that would run. But we're going backwards in time. Figures should articulate, I think, to get the best out of how you compose them and stuff. Although if you speak to people like Dean from All Things 80s, he thinks that, I've heard him say, I'm sure, kids, the less their articulation, the more robust they are, maybe, and kids can bang them together and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It's just I don't know.
I mean, it's a hassle over here in the States. It's a mass. It has been for years, boys. I mean, I think Mike touched on it before about. I remember the Force Awakens, and you'd walk into you'd have your Fan First Fridays, and there'd be Stormtroopers there, and it was rows and rows of 5 POA Black Series. They introduced the Vintage Collection, and that's just simply all gone, And I'll give you an example, and this is no word of a lie. My last 7 Black Series figures I wanted have come from England. Every one of them are Simons I could get for me and send them over. And I understand, I used to moan a lot about, you can't go into a store and find them. So I said, well, I'll go online and find them. Same thing again. Your pre-orders are over a year now. I've been waiting for my Black Series 40th anniversary George Lucas since September, and it's pushed back till August. And then when you do find them, you're looking at $10, $15 more. And it was a shame, really, because I remember going watching The Batman about a month ago at the cinema, and we went to the Walmart afterwards, and McFarlane had put this huge pallet in the toy bin full of them. Absolutely, there was rows and rows of Batman, of Catwoman. It wasn't just first come, first served. 5 people could have got a Batman that day. And it was so refreshing to see that, while the movie's out, here's the toys. And I can't remember the last time. I mean, we just got introduced to a Dark Trooper for Black Series that's not out till next year for a show that was on last year.
Yeah, but again, on that
crazy.
side, Shabby, I think it's almost like they're, and in some respects, very rightly so, pinning their hopes on, right, look, is this going to be successful? And if it's not, so when you look at, like, for example, I think it was mentioned that the Dark Troopers are being released in the 3.75 inch line from the Mandalorian, isn't it? I don't know how they're doing them, whether they're doing them in a pack or whatever they're doing them. I think they were good. Was it a deluxe pack that they were going to do them? Because you're going to get the like some sort of, you know, the back panel.
Yeah, I know what you mean, the mountain station or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you think, well, actually, if you wanted like 6, 7, 8 of those, or 16 of those figures, or whatever, you're going to pay a fortune.
And you've got no chance getting that either. I mean, that's the thing. It's funny they say there's one case per store over here, and you'll get 1 of one figure, 2 of one figure, you know. And so, but you'll walk in, you'll see 4 Landos, you know, in the same store. And you're like, well, how is it only 1 per case? You know, but I think we've heard excuse after excuse. Really, distribution has been a nightmare for Star Wars for years. And I understand, you know, the sequels didn't do that well, and obviously the movie line stopped before The Rise of Skywalker. But since then, we've had The Mandalorian, we've had The Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi. I mean, it's back in a big way. And but that's the distribution to the way it is. It's
but that's also the point, Shabby. You just hit the nail on the head. Before, like, you know, if you put something on a peg, and like I'm talking from a marketing sales point of view here, by the way, and they looked at it and thought, oh, everything's readily available, and some things would sell and some things wouldn't. And like you just said, you know, you've got Landos or whatever that are sitting there, and yet the Mandalorian's been uberly successful. They're now re-released, you know, or they've now released the fact that they're going to do these Dark Troopers, but they're, I wouldn't say exploiting, that's the wrong word. What I'm saying is you're then putting a really, really premium price on something that you would army build, for example. It's difficult. It's yeah, I don't know. I know I'm moaning a bit, but
well, thank you. People have just hit the... sorry, go on. Sorry, Shab. Sorry.
What I was going to say was I went with G-Force to Target about a month ago, and I found the Muddy Mandalorian, the deluxe one. And I bought it and took it up. By the time I'd paid tax in the States and bought it, it was over $40. And it was the first time out of 300 Black Series that I have bought that I felt robbed. I felt proper robbed, and it took the excitement away. But what I said to myself was, if I don't buy it now while it's on, I will never see this again. And if I go online and buying it, I'm looking at $50, $60 for a modern figure, not 40. But something has to be done. It got crazy.
Just a quick pick up on a few things said before. When I was going on about movie lines and Smiths, what worries me is the fact that vintage collection is very pristine, isn't it? You know, it's got that elite aspect, I suppose. People, you know, we know that a lot of collectors keep it nice and mint or whatever. Although, having said that, people, you know, if they want to keep any toy line mint, they will. But that, and especially that, but it just doesn't age very well, is what I mean. Out in the wild, does it? You know, the way it hangs on pegs.
No,
it's unforgiving. Should we say?
So my local Smiths, when they had the Bib Fortuna Wave Bo-Katan, they weren't even on pegs. They were just crammed on a shelf. And you go in there one day, they're all standing up. You go in there the next day, they're all laying down. They're all creased up. They're all just all over the floor. They're everywhere. They're not going to sell them if they're all beat up, are they? They've got to be kept nice.
Not at that price.
No, and let's be fair, they're not for the kids, are they? They're for us collectors, and we want to keep them good. I mean, the what's that the little 5-inch line they got going now? The smaller line, I forget what it's called now.
Yeah, the Mission Series or whatever. Mission Fleet. Or whatever.
Yeah, them.
They're all on the clearance over here. $7, that's it for the Mandalorian. I think it's $20 for the Razor Crest. It's all gone on clearance. It's not sold at all over here.
I mean, my nephew, who is what is he now, 15 now? He bought 3 3/4 inch when he was a kid. So obviously, when if he chooses to, when he hits his 30s, if he had the opportunity to pick up 3 3/4 inch again, he would, because he's had that in his hand as a kid. But what worries me is the more they phase it out or whatever, or it's less appealing for littler kids. That when they come of age, when they've got incomes and all of that, they're probably not going to reach for that scale.
See, I don't think it's a case of kids not liking toys anymore. I think that's, in a way, I don't agree with that. I think it's because kids can't bloody find them. You watch Celebration this week, and you've seen how family orientated it is. You've seen the way that they're a bit cringy and they're a bit, and you'll sit there and watch The Mandalorian, for example, with a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. Oh, I can't wait for this stuff. Well, you're not going to buy a 10-year-old a $25 figure. You're just not going to do that, And at 10 or 11, they're a bit too old for mission fleet. There's no in between anymore. And I think that's why the 5 POA was so important, because that's something that if your kids broke or your kids played with, you weren't really that bothered because of the price of them. And that's just gone. So I wouldn't necessarily, say all kids aren't interested in toys. And they are. There's no in between. That's what I'm trying to say. It's either little kid stuff or adult collector stuff.
That's very true.
Faz Love, if you were in London, you've got Hamleys, of course, which is, oh my God, that's really expensive. I remember when I last went to London, 2016, they were selling the Force Awakens 5 POA line, and the Rogue One, I think, as well, was on the shelves then. No, was it? Yeah, maybe not, actually. It was the tail end of the Force Awakens. It was all like double the price. It was up here. It was like 20 quid they were asking for, something like that. It seemed ridiculous. But they were about 10 each normally, or maybe it was 15. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but still. Anyway, digressing. You've got Hamleys there, but I don't know what they charge. Well, obviously, probably more with the overheads. And then what else? Forbidden Planet you've got as well in London, and there might be more. Where were you today, Daniel?
We went to the Disney store in Oxford Street. Walked right past Hamleys actually, because it is very expensive in there. We went to Forbidden Planet. There's a couple of comic shops that are sort of in the vicinity, but they don't have a massive amount of stock.
Yeah.
HMV doing it as well now, Dan.
HMV. They've closed down the Oxford Street HMV. Actually, it's not there anymore.
Oh, right. Okay.
The new, it's the big shopping centres now, Blue Water and Westfield and Stratford. There's HMVs over there, but there's not any uptown as far as I know. But they do have a lot of Star Wars and Marvel stuff in HMV now, so you can put bobs in there. That's about it, really. You've got your Smiths, Entertainer. But the Entertainer stock is shocking now. I mean, we had a little 2-year period about 3, maybe 4 years ago that they had loads and loads of stuff. Now they've got hardly anything in there at all. So they've gone, they've gone to pot in there. That's about it, really. There isn't anywhere else that you can go and buy them. It's sad, really.
Yeah. I mean, that thing about the kids not buying toys anymore, I suppose it might just be just a theory. But I can't remember what it was. I saw something recently where clearly kids still wanted to. It was a kid or something. They were desperate to get hold of whatever it was, a toy or something. And it just goes to show that there's still that desire there. It's probably just a theory that went around maybe, but parts of it might be true because obviously devices are more common, should we say. But I don't think you can ever take that away from anyone or actually wanting something that's real, you know what I mean? As opposed to just like an electronic thing. I don't know. But I don't know.
Straight out of Coruscant has put a comment there. Oxford Street HMV is now a sweet shop, which it is. Yeah, we'll walk right past it today. Gone.
Hamleys has the Black Series Jar Jar for £40.
It was $8 over here. We have a place called Ollie's over here, gents, and it's like what they do is they take old stock from stores and they put it in there, so you can buy. And that's where I suppose you saw it online. All the vintage collectibles sold at $4.99 in there, $6.99 in there, and I picked up a couple myself. Black Series is the same way. Well, they brought out the Jar Jar Binks for $30, and within a month and a half, it was in Ollie's for $8.99. Within a month and a half, it was great. Yeah.
Means I don't think so. Just while he's up there, Tim Ulowitz, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You had a comment earlier. He said, any thoughts on, I've never heard of it, Micro Galaxy Squadron? Is that in another line of something or other? Sounds a bit like Micro Machines, doesn't it? Remember the
It's a
Micro
new
Machines?
one they've brought out. It looks absolutely fantastic. And what they've done is they've made the vehicles the actual size to the figure. So in other words, an X-Wing is going to be smaller than the Millennium Falcon. The Falcon's going to be bigger than... It's brilliant. They introduced it at Celebration, and it's in a way it is Micro Machines, but it's different. I think the Falcon costs about $45. You can get Boba Fett shit, and it's all done the actual size. You know, the size is all specific to other vehicles. It looks like a really good line. That it comes at the end of July, August. It said.
You called it Boba Fett ship there, Shabby. Don't be scared to call it what it's
Slave
supposed to
One.
be. No.
Fire
Sorry,
spray.
I'm going to stop you there, Shay. It's the fire spray.
Fire spray.
It's
Okay.
fire spray. Please keep it politically correct on my channel. Like a Benza. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I loved that. The action fleet was great, wasn't it? Because I got a sense of scale with that, the tiny little figures like that, and they were great then. But that's where Wizzy Wizard will come in. He was asking questions about that. Should they bring out a line of vehicles that sort of are smaller so you can get massive things in there, you know?
Yeah,
with
but
no
check out
problem.
this new one. Check it out. I think you're all going to be really, really impressed. For the Falcon, for example, when you open the cockpit and all the back comes off and it lights up, you can actually fit the 4 micro figures in the cockpit. They've done it really to scale. It looks fantastic. It really does.
Yeah. Let us know, Darth Wizzy Wizard, if you're onto that, if you know about this thing. I don't know about it, man. I should.
So Shabby on that then. Who? Okay, I appreciate that line is, I suppose, scale wise, obviously perfect, but designed for children, obviously. Well,
I don't know.
I know it. I visioned that for being for the adult or for
that was my question.
or more mature kids, you know, like
Well,
say
it's
that Lego
expensive.
line, that City line, or whatever. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah,
Kind of like it's got an
who
adult look to
do
it.
you guys think it's really aimed at? That
Mission Fleet is definitely for kids, isn't it? Let's be honest, that animated look and stuff. But you know,
The
what I'm
Mission Fleet is, but this new line that we're talking about is definitely it's paying homage to the Micro Collection. That's what
I've got
it
to
is.
Google it now, fellas. I can't vision it. I've got the
yeah.
access to the internet here. Let's just hang on a second.
Because I haven't seen this one, Shabby. I don't think.
You'll like it, Mike. You'll like it. It's really good. But the same thing again. You're talking about. I'll just use the word Micro Collection, even though it isn't. You're buying a Falcon for $45. You're not going to buy that one of your kids with the little things inside it because it's not going to last 2 minutes. So it's definitely aimed at us.
And it's all Star Wars, or are they yet to move on to? Oh, I see. Micro Galaxy Squadron, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It looks just like the action fleet from what I'm seeing here on these first images. Just like one image here, which I've got here. Let's have a look. It's just, yeah.
Can you share it, Nick, or not?
Well, I am gonna, Mike. Now, actually, let's do that right now. Hang on a sec. What am I doing here? You keep talking, but boys, you've got the awkward silence going on there. Let me just get Smuggler's Canyon's comment off there. Also, yeah, Smuggler's Canyon. I was just going to say, because he's obviously, let's not forget, he's an inbox collector, isn't he, when we talk about the 5p away? So it doesn't really mean, Jack, you know what to him if a figure articulates or not, because he's not getting out of the packaging, is he? I wrote that down. I've been making notes here as we've been going on, but anyway, we shall never get over that. We'll constantly bicker about that one. But anyway.
Well, in fact, what Tim just said there, the Falcon looks amazing. He's exactly right. And what they also did when they showed it off, they put a biker scout on the speeder bike next to it, and how tiny it was compared to the Falcon. So they've really done it to scale. It looks really good.
Right, I'll just share. This is on Google here. So
And what are the? I'm assuming there's probably not really any articulation on the figures, Shabby. I know that sounds really silly.
You know what? I'm not sure though. Actually, that's a good point, because when he showed it, it looks like it is 5p away, even though they're tiny. I can't say for sure because he didn't really go through the figures. He went through the vehicles. But the back of that Falcon, like I say, the back opens up, the cockpit does, the lights are all on it. It looks fantastic.
So if those figures even are 5p, that can have a massive nostalgic pull,
Massive. Yeah, exactly. Us lads are going to go. I mean, like I said, that's something I'd never go back into. But after seeing this, I thought, I'm going to get it.
Well, this is exactly what Darth Wizzy Wizard wanted, and I'm just interested. Has he commented yet? Has he known about this? Because this is it, man. It's happening for you. But this is just the action fleet for me. It might be made better. It might look better. I don't know. But that to me looks like what you got with that. But yeah, that Falcon looks really decent, actually. Weathered and everything.
Yeah, it looks really good. Well, like I say, when you get the other ships compared to it, that will be the biggest one. So they've put it all into scale.
And how long's this been a thing? How long's it been around?
It's only just been introduced. It'll be coming out for retail, they said, July, August.
Wow, imagine a barge or something in that, or they could do anything.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You could even consider, well, it's funny, isn't it? Even at this scale, you'd struggle to do a Star Destroyer, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? It'd still be the size of a hoodie car, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You and your cars, Nick, and the Star Destroyers.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all I've got to sort of get the scale sort of whatever, Mike. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, even if I don't. Bloody hell. We've got 81 people watching this, which is fantastic.
Wow. Thank you.
And we have, you know, we haven't even got Bosk's Bounty as a guest. Usually when I get him on, the numbers jump. But no, seriously, could you please smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen? We've got 81 people watching here, and we've got 46 likes. We can do better than that. Smash that like button. Thank you. Well, we don't actually know if that is 46 likes. That's 46 interactions. Some of them could be thumbs down, but you know what to do. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. That's all I'm going to say about that. And who's this here? Io Kenobi in chat. Hello there, Last Clone Customs. And then Darth Wizzy Wizard is saying, interesting. I guess you would like that, man. That's great. Well, thanks for letting me know about that line. I'm going to look into that. Definitely, fellas. What do you reckon? Is that any good?
I really like it. I think it's going to be successful. I really do. The look of it. Wait to see the detail that they've put into it, and the lights and the sounds, and you know they've not just done old micro collection of you and just pulled it out. They've really thought about this, and I think it's going to be a good line.
That's awesome, man. Really interesting. I'm going to do a bit of research after this show. Anyway, speaking of shows and stuff, you should be able to see Tatooine as seen from space on the screen right now. So should we talk a little bit of Kenobi? Because we haven't talked Kenobi at all. So if you're still with us, stay with us, because we're going to get our teeth into Kenobi. Not literally. Ow! That was a terrible joke there. Not literally. That would be hideous. Whatever. Sorry. So we got... he's starting to heckle now. So Kenobi, fellas. I did a little reaction myself, so people know my thoughts, but overall loved it. Really good. And I'm glad that they gave us 2 episodes because, you know, as opposed to having to wait, you know, a week to find out a bit more, you know, you got it straight away and you saw 2 different worlds. You saw Dayu or whatever it was called in the second one. And obviously we started on Tatooine, but thoroughly enjoyed it. And I understand is there 10 episodes?
No, 6.
Well, I thought I read today that there was going to be 10, which seemed like a lot. But
don't believe everything you read.
It seemed like it was really official. I saw it on like a site. I don't know what it was.
No, I think Ewan McGregor was pulling everybody's chain at Celebration. Was getting all the fans worked up and was saying, you know, look forward to episode 4, 5, 6, and then he said 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Everybody lost their mind, and I don't think there's.
Well, maybe he's already spoken to Kathleen, and she's already implied that there will be a second series. I don't know, but
no, I don't think there's going to be 10. I've scoured the internet and tried to find out, and all I can keep finding is 6. There's only 6. So I think I may be wrong, but I haven't found evidence of 10 yet.
No, I think there's only 6. I think 6 is exactly right. They have IMDb, they'll put it on there, won't they? But no, it's just 6 episodes.
It's funny, and nothing really hideously offensive has come up that's going to upset the original trilogy, but that's just my take on it. We're going to go around and see what you fellas think about that. But I was thinking about how it just crossed me mind before I watched it a second time, how he says that line in A New Hope. Old Ben says, he says, I've not gone by the name Old Obi-Wan's. Oh, no, he doesn't say Old Obi-Wan. He says, I've not gone by the name Obi-Wan since before you were born. But that's like him saying, I've not gone by the name, like, you know, called himself.
I think he actually says, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Well, yeah, he does. He says that first. He says, I've not, which is not necessarily massively upset because it's not like he's not heard that since the birth of the twins, is it? He's heard it at least when that Jedi who he meets in the desert, he says, Obi-Wan. He says, I'm Ben, you know? So he's obviously heard the name Obi-Wan since then, at least. And maybe for this whole series. But he says, I've not gone by the name, which means he's not called himself that, which is true because he says to him, I'm Ben. So that makes sense. So nothing's been upset there. I thought as a kid, it was implying that he's not even heard the name Obi-Wan. He says, I've not heard it for a long time, but I thought maybe, damn it, they've used the name Obi-Wan and he's not heard that for since he was born. But no, I got that mixed up. So that's safe. I mean, it's only a little tiny detail, but you know what I mean. But anyway, any thoughts, fellas? I've waffled on long enough here now.
It was a pretty solid start. It was interesting, entertaining. It was good to see him, see him back on screen again. But I worry that later on, as the series progresses, the introduction of the two children and Darth Vader, I think by the end of this series, it is seriously going to mess with the continuity of the original trilogy, which pains me and worries me. I mean, this Reva character, I'm not a massive fan of at all, to be honest.
She's like Marmite, isn't she, Dan? We were talking about this on Friday.
The actress is very good. The attitude she has, like the character in the show, trying to steal the scenes, and I don't know. She's just not for me. I thought the other Inquisitors were really good, but her, there's just something about her that I'm just not keen on. I can't.
But I like that thing with it. Obi-Wan. She's a bit mental, isn't she? Like, she's obsessive in a way. I quite like that. And at the end of the day, make your final judgment when we've seen it all. But I'd like to see where it goes. But you know what I mean? I
agree with that, because I agree with what Dan was saying. When I didn't mind it, to be honest, but I hope this isn't her personality all the way through it. I hope we get to see something about her, because. And as I was watching, I was thinking, I can see how people are going to like this character. Some people aren't going to like this character. It was a bit. I understand she's miffed about something, but it's time.
She's
ahead of move on from it.
Why is she so ahead of the game on everything? And then I didn't like the way she called him Anakin, because I actually years ago thought more people knew Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader than I realized. Actually, not very many people did.
Well, you read the Tarkin book, Nick, and nobody knew. There's a part in Tarkin where they're sat in the Death Star and having a meeting, and Tarkin is looking over to Darth Vader, and he's my
friend, of all of the remains of that religion. Yeah.
Well, he's thinking to himself, and then he's saying, "Where's he come from?" Because the book establishes that Tarkin's been in the Empire or through the military all the way through, and hasn't a clue who this Vader is. He's come from nowhere, and then he says to himself, I have an idea it might be Anakin Skywalker, because obviously he'd gone, and so, but even he didn't know. So there must be something that this girl must have found out in the Jedi Temple or something.
I'd like to know that. I don't want that to be like a mystery box that doesn't get explained, because she knows way more than I think she should for just an Inquisitor. But Tarkin's a very high-ranking Imperial, isn't he? So he's probably got more reason than anyone to know detail. And I love that chat they had in Clone Wars Season 3, the Citadel Tower. You can see Anakin bonding with Tarkin. He was only Captain Tarkin back then, but that was a really nice, that's subtle, seeing how they have a relationship, growing in itself.
I mean, going back to what I said about the children being in it, Leia and Luke, I mean, I don't think at any point during this show should Luke Skywalker see a lightsaber hilt or an ignited lightsaber or any kind of fighting that is to do with Jedi. Because in A New Hope, as far as I remember, he knew nothing. He didn't know what the lightsaber was.
I agree.
He didn't have a clue. And if there is a scene or there is a part of this show where he witnesses or he is part of some form of battle, it completely screws with the original trilogy.
Well, then you should actually, Daniel, be pleased that they've got all this stuff with Leia, because people were kicking off about that. Oh, why are they going? It's all about Leia and all this. Promoting.
Luke's going to have more of a prominent role in this. He's got to. I mean, why would he's going to be in it at some point. There's going to be something. There has to be.
I've got to admit though, when I
tread very carefully there, though, haven't they? Anyway,
when I saw it,
sorry, Shabby.
And I saw Leia getting dressed. I thought, I was scared at the start. I've got to be honest, because I thought Disney kid actors. I thought it's going to be iCarly in space.
No, she did really well, didn't she? That kid, whatever her name is.
Absolutely fantastic. I've got to give that kid credit. I mean, she got Leia down to a T at such a young age. And after a few scenes, you were watching that basically you were watching a young Leia. She was
and it was awesome. Really, really pleased for her. She did really well there. It's not easy for a kid to be good in Star Wars, you know what I mean? But
she's a better actress than Reva.
She was good. But I agree in a way. The only thing is, though, it's starting to feel like this. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now we've got only One Kenobi and Leia, and we've got the Bad Batch and Omega. It's like the stories are all being the same, like adults looking after youngsters, if you will. Do you know what I mean? So I hope this Leia thing doesn't last the whole 6 episodes. I hope
Don't you find it fascinating, though, the fact that we are off-world on the 2nd episode, whereas the Book of Boba Fett, a bounty hunter like Boba Fett, could have done so much more off Tatooine. Well, as much, if not more, than, say, Obi-Wan. But it's crazy, isn't it?
I never would have thought Leia would be in it. I never would have thought that.
I thought this would all be on Tatooine. I didn't think he was allowed to leave, you know, man. But he's obviously gone off-world, and that's great. So it's been done, and it's happened. I never imagined he'd ever leave it. But there's so much on that planet that you could do. But, you know.
There's going to be there must be scenes on Mustafar or something like that now that we've seen. We've seen in the trailers, haven't we, some... I don't know whether it's Mustafar, where the Inquisitors are hanging around, and obviously Vader's in it now. So yeah, they're not just going to be on Tatooine; they're going to be.
I'm still sad though, Daniel. That line, when I left you, I was but the learner, but now I'm the master. I always imagined that learner to be the guy who got fried on Mustafar because he dropped the ball. You know what I mean? It was a blunder that and he's learned a lot since then, you know what I mean? He misjudged his power, and overestimated. You underestimate my power. But
yeah, they're gonna meet again at some point, aren't they? And who knows? It's just it worries me. Well, when this series was announced, it worried me, because you think, what can they do with Kenobi? I mean, he's there, he's on Tatooine. His job is to keep an eye on Luke. What can they do? They're obviously trying something slightly different with Leia, but I think ultimately we're going to end up with, it will be a good show, it will be enjoyable in parts, but I think story-wise and continuity-wise, I think we're all going to be a little bit miffed at the end of it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, because Leia and Darth Vader can't meet, can they?
They shouldn't meet, but inevitably they're going to, aren't they? I mean, Reva's playing Cilla Black, isn't she, at the moment? She's setting up a blind date, isn't she, between the two of them?
He's a decade on, isn't he, Darth Vader? So he'll have a lot more power than he did when he was Anakin Skywalker, age 23, whatever it was, when he got fried.
It's 10 years
so
later.
it's just that one line when I left. I've said it before. When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. That's just the one issue I've got, which just is a rule or law that will be broken here, I think, anyway. But it depends on how far they go with the fight.
Well, let's hope not, but I just can't see how it can't be messed with, you know? Where are they going to go? I mean, why would they show Vader?
What was the Black Chrysanthemum story, Dan? You said that was in a comic.
That was in a comic, wasn't it? Yeah, Chrysanthemum.
Skyhopper, Luke was flying, right?
That's right, yeah, and he went to the Homestead Chrysanthemum, and he was hanging Owen off of a cliff or something, and Obi-Wan turned up to save Owen, and Luke witnessed the ensuing battle and whatnot in the comic, which again messes with canon.
But you were saying
Stanton got that scar over his eye.
Stanton got his scar from the lightsaber or something.
Right. That was the first thing I looked at in Book of Boba Fett.
He pushed Stanton off the cliff or something, did he not?
Luke didn't necessarily see everything, and you said, "How could he not? How could he not?" You were saying because he's in a Skyhopper.
All his eyes shut.
He might have just been flying around the other side, and I think when I interpreted it, Dan, when I looked at the story, I thought, it's not as bad as I originally thought when you told me about the story. It could have been missed. He was just, potentially somewhere where he couldn't see what was happening if he was in his Skyhopper going around the cliff or something. I don't know, man. Oh, we got BOEs here. Hi. Brilliant. What a legend the BOE is. Awesome. And yeah, so what, Mike, what are your thoughts on Kenobi?
Listen, first impressions, I enjoyed it. I mean, the one thing I'd like the other guys' opinions on here really is, I suppose, the Inquisitors, because the figures that we've had from the Inquisitors obviously have very different head sculpts.
Thinner.
Absolutely. So,
well, they've based the Black Series one off the TV show, haven't they? For the Grand Inquisitor, he's got the rounded more.
It's
face,
difficult.
I like his moon face.
It's difficult to find an actor with a head like a Frankfurter, though, isn't
it? Someone told me that he looks like Crichton from Westworld.
Yeah, this fella's head's a bit wide, isn't it? He does look a bit like Crichton.
And
There
who's
ain't
seen
many
Dick?
people walking around with skinny heads like that, is there?
Yeah,
And
but
you know
Dan,
Dick Tracy?
in
Sorry, Mike.
Revenge of the Sith, was it Revenge of the Sith where they had the
Yeah, they had one, didn't they? On I forget the name of the planet, but yeah, he asked for help, didn't he? He said,
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
it's Tapu. There's thousands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you think I was I don't know, under the impression
was that an actual? Or was that CGI?
Well, I'm not sure. No, I heard rumours that like again, this might be completely way left field. They were like they can't put actors in like where they can put them under or actors or actresses or whatever you want to call them now. They can't put that sort of sculpt on because it takes too long or whatever, and the pressure and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that was the only thing I questioned on it. I really enjoyed the first two, which I'm going to. I'm a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. I don't mind the slow burn type things that they have on these things. at all.
People are saying it's boring. It's you're establishing a setting and everything and a vibe and a feel. Absolutely
exactly.
brilliant.
I don't mind.
We've got 6 hours of Obi-Wan. I mean, if this was a movie, it'd be over by now.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
Brilliant.
We've got 4 more to go. So
Well said.
It was an hour and a half, wasn't it? The 2 episodes.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think the first,
one was 50 something, and the other was 40. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, no, the first episode was 50 odd minutes, wasn't it? And and it literally whisked by. I loved it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
it's just what you've got coming up next, as you said, Dan. I mean, there are going to be elements of things that you don't like or do like. What I've tried to do when watching this is take myself off social media in terms of not people's opinions, because you're gonna make your own opinions anyway, but on certain characters and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Listen, we all love Star Wars. That's why we're here and we discuss these things. So, even things that you think, you're not quite sure on. I thought that I really enjoyed it. I mean, I know obviously the point Stan's made probably more relevant than anything else, and yours as well, Shabby. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to see like Luke interact with Vader and things like that in terms of like see a lightsaber, because that it doesn't make you think with foresight these guys would have thought about that. I thought that listen, first 2 episodes thoroughly enjoyed it. I've seen people who I thoroughly respect on YouTube absolutely diss it as well, with all due respect. I'm not going to name names because that's ridiculous.
You don't
but listen, you take it as it is.
Yeah.
I love the Star Wars content, and for me, the slow burn is even better. Really,
And
the more you get.
I loved how he looked as well at the end of the first episode when he finally got a robe on, because I was dying for him to put a robe on, not just because he looks then like Obi-Wan, but the fact that he was under the suns on that ruddy camel, aka the the Yopi, and no protection. I thought no wonder he's aged as badly as he has, just marching through the desert. You know what I mean? But he just looked like finally put a cloak on because the shelter from the suns. But
see, but I don't regard that as a
rugged version of a Jedi. You know what I mean? He was half Jedi, half nomad kind of look. So it was familiar and brilliant.
But then the thing is on that as well.
Oh, the figure's amazing. Sorry, Mike.
I was just going to say I'm jumping off tangent here, but how good does that figure release look of that figure?
What is it about that car? Why does that work so much? Because it looks like it's got visual issues in a way. It's like have
you got an image of it, Nick?
It's been composited on almost, you know what I mean? Or is that just because it's just like dodgy images we've had so far? I'm just trying to find one now, Mike. I'm not much joy here, but
no. I'm just saying. I mean,
hello.
Back that line.
You still there?
Say that again. You broke off a bit there, Michael.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just saying.
I don't apologise. You can't help the technology, mate.
This will again. It's the sort of thing. The character we're going to buy this character. End of story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the images that they did show looked really, really good.
Yeah, well, this is really hard for me to find this because all I'm getting on Google is all the Obi-Wan card backs we've had previously. But maybe I'll strike lucky. Don't know. But
I thought Ewan McGregor was really good in that. Certainly, in the first. So yeah, not first two because that sounds silly because I know that's all we've had. But what I mean is, it's interesting from the point of view of the age he is now to.
Oh, I've got it. Sorry, Mike.
No. If you go back to when he first took the role, and they showed obviously all of the sort of images from Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and all that right at the start, didn't they? It was it was really good, and yes, obviously, of course, he's aged, but it was really interesting. I thought it was really nicely done.
Yeah, here we go. Let's just stop sharing that. Let's get another one on here.
Coming up now, fellas. You could have helped me out there, guys.
Yeah, he's poor bastard struggling. Someone chip in, will ya? Come on, Daniel, where are you?
Listen, me personally, I would have liked to have seen a card back image on Tatooine or in Anchorhead or somewhere like that, where he was. As nice as that card back is,
yeah, really.
I would have liked to have seen a Tatooine background on that card. To be honest,
I've just got this vision of it being all fake. But it might not have been. I don't know.
When I first saw this image, I thought it was an artist impression, and then I remembered that it was on that. I forget the name of Daewoo or something. Was it the planet that he went to?
I'll tell you what, though, Dan, it's a very, very easy next diorama piece they can put up, isn't it, for his place?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
just a couple of crackback walls with a bit of brown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not difficult. You could do that one in half an hour, I think.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong one there. Excuse me.
I did enjoy the Grand Inquisitor, though. I thought he was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure that he's dead.
What?
He can't be because
no, he can't. No,
years after this, he's in Rebels, so
that's right.
He can't be dead.
No, he can't be.
That is the one. Dan, that is the one I was talking about earlier with the.
It is supposed to be the Grand Inquisitor, and
so his head was much. His head was much longer, though. Wasn't it? It sounds awful.
In the animated, his head was thinner. But like
to be honest, though, lads, they do this all the time. How many characters have died and come straight back in the Disney
Star Wars? They're never dead, are they?
No.
I just love that.
No one ever dies in Star Wars, Shabby. You know that.
Not Disney Star Wars, anyway, because if they can make money, they'll bring them back.
Yeah.
Excuse me, fellas. I'm making a right mess of this. Yeah, there it is there. So
yeah,
it's
nice card, but like I said, me personally would have preferred some form of Tatooine background.
But then
when's that
you could have, Daniel, but it's just like then it's Tatooine over OD, isn't it? You know,
there is no OD. You can't overdo Tatooine, mate.
Exactly.
Tatooine is Star Wars. End of story.
Well, there's a potential they'll do it. Well, they won't, will they? That's the thing. We're hitting the end of this. That's the whole thing that now it gets us back onto plastic, Bubblegate, whatever. And
I don't think they're going to get rid of the bubbles.
I hope not.
I really don't. I'm convinced now that they'll get rid of the plastic on everything else, but the vintage collection, these card backs, if they're going to keep it going, they'll keep that little bit of plastic on that.
Do you not think other people would kick off with that though, Dan? Because I was talking to some Americans over here, and they were like, say for example, you're an inbox
the
G.I. Joe
collectors and the G.I. Joes might have a whinge in them.
And they might turn around and say, well, hang on a minute, how is it you're keeping it on that and not on ours? And so I honestly thought, mate, that the thing wasn't getting rid of all of it.
Because the vintage collection is as much about the packaging as it is about the figure, as we all know.
Yeah.
No other toy line, no other figures are as much about the packaging as what they are about the figures. I don't think so. So they'll be crazy to get rid of the bubble because they'll lose more than half of their sales because of the people
said that all the time, Dan.
And because of the people that buy it to keep it on card. Now we know that other collectors of other lines keep things in boxes and keep things on cards, like you yourself do, Shabby, with a lot of your collection. But the vintage collection is all about that card and that bubble. That's what attracted us to it. We 100%. Saw that that's what we had when we were kids, and that's what we want now. You know? The old village people, there they go. They've done it again.
I'm assuming you'll be buying multiple packs of that, Dan.
I'm going to buy one. Yes, I am going to buy one of those. Yeah, I've got to have one of them.
I haven't said about going back to this card back. I mentioned it reminds me. Hello. It reminds me so much of the Jocasta new card back. I love that one as well. The blue is brilliant. I just liked it. I loved it.
When is that card available? If you don't mind me asking, when's that figure available?
Oh, I don't know. I should know. People like Tim know. Tim Bosk's Bounty. And I don't. Well, one of you fellas might know, but I
don't know whether it's going to be like readily available. But I think a lot of pre-orders go on the 1st.
Right.
For some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it is.
Sorry, 1st of June. Sorry.
You know, regardless of this card back, I just loved seeing him. It's lovely actually. There's some really good moments of that Obi-Wan thing, like when he arrived first on Dayu, whatever you want to call it, and then he was just walking, soaking in his surroundings, you know, scoping it out and just, you know, sussing it out. And it was a bit like Coruscant, wasn't it? It was just like a grimy city. And the girls trying to sell him the spice and all that, but
that was his daughter. That was his real life daughter.
Oh, really? Was it now?
The actress who sold him those drugs is Ewan McGregor's daughter.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's nice to see how haunted he is. You know, when he's having nightmares at night and he wakes up and he's asking for Qui-Gon, and that was a nice touch for me. You know, he's playing it like he's suffered for 10 years and he just can't get over what he's done. You know,
Do you think we're gonna get Qui-Gon in there talking to him?
Yeah.
Eventually.
You've got to, haven't you?
I'm glad that I was half expecting. It was quite good that the fact that they made everybody think, he's going to appear now as a ghost, but he didn't, did he? There was it was like call and no answer, so it's not working. The connection, the signal's not working there.
They probably can't afford to pay him.
I'll tell you what.
Oh no, Liam will do that. I know Liam very well.
I bet you hear Qui-Gon talking to him and guiding him when he's having his tear up with.
Yeah, he's done stuff for the Clone Wars, Liam Neeson, and he'll do that. Even if it's a voiceover, he'll do it.
Just like Ray and the other fella in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, don't know, never saw it.
Shabby, aren't you the lucky one?
No, I watched it. I just can't remember it. That's what it was. It must have been.
Right, well, do you know what that brings us?
Just to go back to Kenobi, my favourite scene so far was the scene with the Jawa. With Tika in his
brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. I mean, stealing his parts and flogging them back to him that's just brilliant. And Jawas are great, and
But someone was slagging that off. They were saying, it was just like cringeworthy humour. I thought it was funny.
Brilliant.
Was that not you, Daniel? I thought that was you.
Right. You know, that's what our Jawas should be. You know, we've always heard that they're, little dodgy sods. So I thought that was fantastic.
Just the way
I thought you'd said it was slapstick, Daniel. I could have sworn that was you.
No, not slapstick, not me, mate. The way he said to Tika, if you're going to sell my parts back to me, at least
clean them first. Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant.
yeah. And then he goes, cleaning costs more or something.
Cleaning costs more, yeah. Cheeky little sword, you know what I mean?
Yeah, brilliant.
Is that the same one that Thingy gets it on with? That was funny as well. I've forgotten her name now. What's her name? The
Oh, no, Pelimoto, no. Definitely.
Yeah, that was funny that she says
they're
hurry,
so
I know.
That as well, because I thought she was such a good character, and then as soon as she said, I slept with an Ewok or whatever.
Yeah.
She talks all the languages as well. It would have been quite funny.
Hairy or something. Oh, leave off.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
Although they need to make a figure of her with some big
right.
joints.
What I'll do now, fellas, we'll probably come back to Obi-Wan, maybe, but I want to just play this other message. This is from somebody. Let me just hang on a minute.
Master only one Kenobi.
It's quite funny, this.
It's your Chancellor here. Tell me, Master only one. Did you ever hear about the tragedy of the sequel trilogy? I thought not. It's not a story that George will tell you, cause it's utter shit.
Love it.
Now to my question, Master Only One. Which is your favorite dark side figure or vehicle? Or cardback for that matter. The choice is yours. That's all for now, Master Kenobi. In time, you will call me Master.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Sorry, mate. Couldn't continue that.
That's my little homage to the undisputed king of Star Wars impressions, you. Love the show, mate. It goes from strength to strength every week. Long may it continue. All the best, mate. Speak soon.
Awesome. Yeah, that's Tony Z. Thanks a lot, man. That was really funny. A great impression as well of Target. What am I talking about? Of the Emperor. And yeah, a much respected and loved follower of the channel. Anyway, so he asked about the also, Tony, if you're watching, I'm going to also have that again, not in full form, just the actual question, because I want to show you the card back. I can't really do that on this format and show you a few figures. But yeah, favorite, to answer that question, fellas, you can dive in as well. Favorite Sith. Well, he said vehicle, figure, or card back. So we'll go around the hall, fellas, and we can discuss that now. For myself, though, favorite card back, and this is quite sad because there should be more Sith card backs. Darth Malgus, right? Brilliant card back. Also, the figure is pretty good inside, but that wouldn't necessarily be my favorite figure. That card back, we need more stuff like that, and that's why, it's a sad thing we don't have Plagueis and all sorts of other characters. So that would be that. And then favorite figure would have to be Nihilus. Darth Nihilus is a great figure. That would be up there anyway. And then finally, what was he say? Vehicle. Oh, would be the Sith Starfighter, man. That would be my favorite of that. And on that one, I'm going to pass it over to you, fellas. It's a very specific question he's asked there, but and then we can then we can all have a go at the sequel trilogy after that as well. Only joking. Yeah. Who would like to go next?
Favorite dark side figure.
Yeah, or card back or vehicle. So
right, for me, I would say my favorite dark side user figure is the vintage collection Darth Vader figure from A New Hope. I'm not sure of the number, the VC number, but it's the one with the red eye, the one with the red lenses on his eyes. I like that one.
There's a couple, yeah.
I do like that one. You've got the Empire Strikes Back one, but then with the removable helmet. But this one, I don't think it doesn't have a removable
VT 90 something.
90 something. I quite
can you remember,
that.
Mike? Do you know
a VC 93?
93, yeah, I like that
that's
one.
The one, yeah.
Card back. The same card back because of the how iconic it is.
Oh yeah,
case and the original image. So yeah, definitely that card back. And vehicle, dark side user vehicle. I've drawn a blank on that one, to be honest with you.
Do you know what, Daniel?
There aren't many, are there? So
I recently sold my Darth Vader. What you call it now? Advanced prototype.
Fire.
Eh?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
The prototype. Yeah. It's advanced prototype, whatever you call that. It's like an interceptor, isn't it? Really, but I sold that because I'm hoping that they will give us a proper one of them, proper color and everything. But you won't like this, Daniel, and I don't really like the film. But one of my favorites. I love that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. Let's pass.
Okay. I don't want to upset the guy. You know what I mean.
He was going to shoot Leia, but he didn't. No, don't. No. Leave it.
All right, Daniel. I will respect my guest.
Am I right? Is that the one you was on about? He thought about shooting Leia, but then he changed his mind at the last minute.
That's the one, yeah.
Let's leave it.
It's just a shame. These beautiful designs aren't backed up with a little bit of script and story. It is quite a sleek vehicle, isn't it? It lovely. The glass is beautiful as well. Of the cockpit is lovely, isn't it? It's like a natural transition and update to the originals, isn't it? Interceptors and all that. But yeah, it's not my favorite though. I'm just saying that's a good one. I'm just saying that I sold my Vader one, but this thing kind of runs rings around it in a way. But my actual favorite one is the bomber, the 30th anniversary bomber. I've got that. I'm hoping for a Vader one that's as good as that and the right kind of grey color as well. Yeah, it's a nice. I don't like the turquoisey ones. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, BOE said VC93. He knows it.
It's a bit too blue, isn't it?
What rude? Oh, bit blue.
No, blue as in
Yeah. Right. So should we move on? Who've we got next? Marco, you're a vehicles man. You're a bit of an all-rounder.
Well, no. I think, as I said, I said following up with Dan's. I think the VC93 Vader.
Really? There's a lot of love for that figure.
It's a great figure.
It's got terrible problems. Like when it's been in the packaging, it curls. Like the helmet's all warped and stuff.
The thing is with it as well, though, Nick. I mean, if
lovely car.
The other one I would go back to would be the VCO8. And I know obviously we've had the original one in 2010, I think 2010, 2011, and then obviously a re-release. And only because that was something very, very different that we never had before, where you were able to have that removable helmet. In terms of the vehicles, you've just obviously shat right on my fire. You guys obviously talking about it, because as much as it people don't like the the sort of follow-ons.
Yeah,
I've got to say, Kylo Ren's Starfighter.
Wow, interesting.
Was a good listen. It is a good vehicle. I don't. To be fair, I don't own many sort of the other sort of vehicles in that. Oh, sorry, starships in that sort of TIE fighter type vehicles.
Yeah.
So I don't have them, if that makes sense.
You could do with a bit of a wash on it, though, couldn't it? You know what I mean? It's a bit pure in its blackness.
Yeah, listen, but you're talking about here again. Not being funny. You're talking about a thing that was available at the Entertainer for 20.
It was a kids thing, wasn't it? Almost. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, it was £20, all right, and it's not just about the cost. But I thought, it actually stacked up pretty good. You're right. You could do a wash, but Nick, not being funny, you could do a wash. All you got to do is put some matte colorings or whatever, wash it down with water, and bosh, do it.
But then again, these things shouldn't really have, because mostly they're in space. So that's probably why they're not dirty, isn't it? Really, although you might, I don't know.
Listen, I just thought it was quite. Listen, I've watched your review of it and stuff.
Thank you very much.
Had one out of the box. I think it's a reasonable vehicle. Is there anything else they could give us?
But no, going back to let's not forget that I loved it. I got it. It was a year ago or maybe more now. The Sith Starfighter. I've always wanted to get that to go with my absolute favorite figure, the Anakin Skywalker Jedi concept art. Yeah, the concept art Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. It's the absolute best head sculpt of Hayden Christensen, that figure. But the vehicle itself, you can't beat the Starfighter. But when it's black, I've got these expanded universe visions of Hayden Christensen, if he hadn't lost to Obi-Wan, buzzing around in that after he turned to the dark side. Or even Vader could have got in there. But no, I just want an organic, real Hayden Christensen buzzing around in that. Like he did in Revenge of the Sith, but that was a yellow thing, which looks too much like a good guy as opposed to the bad.
Again, I know that's obviously not the same vehicles, but all of those vehicles
similar
are good.
pattern, yeah. And Mark Shabby, I think we've lost him here because we're talking about 3 3/4 inches. Well,
no, at all. I mean, I remember buying.
You are that guy as well. You've got a collection of that. I'm sorry, Shabby.
Yeah, I bought the Darth Malgus and opened it, and then that's the only vintage collection I've ever bought twice because I love the cards so much.
Very nice.
So I bought that again, and it's still in my toy room now. So that's my favourite card back is the Malgus one. I just like the colours of it. It was awesome.
You can't beat a saber on a card either, Shabby. Sorry to cut in on you, and that's why I was hoping for a Dooku card, and they've got to have a saber lit on that one. But anyway, don't even know if we're ever going to get
remember
Dooku
that.
now.
You remember that figure as well? It came with like the wire around the neck so it would hold on properly. So that was pretty cool. It came with 2 blades, didn't it? One that was obviously ignited, and the other one didn't. He could put on his belt. It was a great figure, but that's not my favourite figure. My favourite one was Darth Plagueis. It was the only figure.
Oh, the Black Series one.
Yeah, I've got the Black Series 3.
Oh, that was the rare one as well. Yeah,
I found it on. I went to just before I came to live in America. I found it. I went to Burnley Star Wars Fun Day, and it was there, £15, and I bought it. I've still got it closed and clamshelled up. That's a great looking figure. I mean, we've never had it before. Either vintage collection or any type of collection really for the Darth Plagueis figure, which is great. And my favourite vehicle, Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator.
Yeah,
great ship. Love that ship. And again, that's in my toy room as well. I'm a big fan of that. Although you can only put one figure in it. Remember, it was like a circle at the back. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd love. Yeah.
Have we got any images of that, guys?
Well, the Sith Infiltrator.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a few reviews.
I've got it right here, right on me. If you want me to put my camera on a minute, I can.
Well, let's let the world see it. Hold on. Why not? Let's break the what's the word now? What's the word? Bloody
the full
protocol of this street. Doesn't matter.
Get it on. So that is it, right? There.
It's like one of the hello. Yeah, let's get you on big screen there, Mark Shabby Geek. Hang on. I nearly took you.
That's the one.
What we're doing. I nearly put you on room. Solo. There you go.
Oh, it's that one. Right there.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh wow, that looks.
And it's funny as well because and then if like I said, it's got like the circle at the back and it only puts one figure, but all this opens up and I can't remember if you press a button
It's
or not.
dangerously underscaled, isn't it? Like, but if they
is.
made it bigger, you know. But
and this all opens up and shows the missiles and so it was just a great ship. I thought
I've got it in the action fleet, you know, Shabby. I've got it in the action fleet and I love it. It's nice.
Yeah.
When I saw it,
Shabby, next 6-inch Haslab.
Oh, that'd be nice in that. As long as you make it to scale, though, it's like what Nick's just saying. That's the only thing with this. It's not, when you put a figure towards it, it looks pretty small.
It kills it. That's actually smaller. I thought they'd make it as big as the Royal Starship there, but they haven't, have they? Interesting that.
That would look cool.
Oh my God, I've just removed Shabby. Sorry. Oh my God, what am I doing? Sorry, Shabby. I've just carry on.
It's all right. It's all right. No problem.
What were you saying, Shab?
I said that would be cool, to make it the size of that. But again,
even that's too small, Shab. But it's still better when you put figures next to it. You can sort of because it opens up as a diorama playset type thing.
Exactly.
Shabby, if they were going to give you that in a decent, forget Haslab projects. If they were going to give you that in a 6-inch scale, what size roughly would that be?
Well, it'd have to be bigger than the Snow Speeder, and the Snow Speeder's massive, and it'd have to be bigger because it was a ship. I mean, because you remember when he got into it was down the side. Remember, he jumped out the side of it, and then you never really saw the cockpit of it. But this is only built like for one figure. It's got the long nose for missiles, but it'd have to be about a size and a half of what the Snow Speeder is. Because we never really actually got to have a look in it, obviously in the Phantom Menace. But when you saw it, it was a big ship, wasn't it? It wasn't a small one.
He comes out the back end, doesn't he? And he's got it's a bit like Shuttle Titanium style scale in terms of the ramp. Yeah, to get in and out and stuff. But it's a big thing.
Yeah,
but that surprised me how small that was. I thought they'd at least make it on par with the Royal Starship. But
well, that was my only issue. Like I said, without repeating myself, so sorry if I am. It's you put more with it, and it didn't look right. It just looked too small,
But you could still have it parked in a room with other vehicles of 3 3/4 inch scale, and a little bit of forced perspective kicks in there.
Yeah, I put mine next to Slave One, and it looks good next to Slave One.
Nice. Yeah. My Royal Starship, I've currently got that underneath the barge, which works quite nicely because they're both long ships, but it worked equally quite nicely on the top of where I've got my Falcon, just with the Falcon in the background, for that in the foreground. It was awesome. It just looked nice. Like it did. How nice it looked when it parked in Coruscant, like that kind of thing. And you can't tell it's not to scale in 3 3/4 inch because there's no figures next to it or whatever. So it's all good, man. It's great vehicles, but
it's one of the best play sets, I think. Vehicle play sets. It's that Royal Naboo ship. It's beautiful.
And that Sith infiltrator, you couldn't beat that. When he arrived at Tatooine and you saw it from the back and you saw the shape of the wings, you just thought, that's just the embryotic stage of the Empire. You know what I mean? You could feel it all, kind of like the birth of the Imperial designs and all that. It was great, man. It all fitted in nice, man. That's all good, man. Awesome. Brilliant. Well, we've nearly been talking for nearly 2 hours, fellas, so we'll probably be wrapping it up shortly. I've got a little video to play us out with at the end of this. Something I shot yesterday, and I just thought I'd have a little bit of an outro of this video, so I'll play that at the end. Speaking of Phantom Menace, actually, it's some shots of some figures I was shooting on my shelf from Phantom Menace, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, well, thank you very much, everyone who's been joining us. And dare I say, I might be wrapping this up shortly. I think if that's all good with you, fellas.
Oh, I've loved it. I mean, Mike, Dan, yourself, it's been brilliant, the chat.
Yeah,
loved
pleasure
it.
to be on. Pleasure.
Yeah, I agree.
Always a pleasure. Always fun.
Yeah. Any 1 second, fellas. Let me just get this ready. I'm sorry, I've just absolutely killed the conversation by announcing that it's going to be ending soon, but I just figured.
He has to ruin it, doesn't he? We're having a good time, and he has to ruin it.
I'm sorry, lads. I mean, to be honest with you, all you need is another. Oh, hello. Look at this. It's such a top. What a brilliant impersonator as well. It was such a revelation, that voice note there, Tony Zed or Tony's brilliant impression of the Emperor. Thanks very much for the super sticker there, $8.99 just to close things off. And it's been a pleasure, fellas, talking about, you know, certain things. Obviously, we've had Kenobi, as we've discussed, and then we've had the plastic thing, which is just a pending thing, like a dark cloud hanging over us, man. But hopefully, we'll get a bit of clarity on that issue.
Well, they need to show us now, just before we go. I was saying this a couple of days ago. They keep putting it off, and I think that's what's aggravating more and more people. If they pull it out now, by the time they actually get here, we'll all be all right with it, or we'll have accepted it. Do you know what I mean? They need to show it as soon as they can.
Yeah, Shabby, the thing is with that is sorry, guys, jumping in quickly.
That's all right,
two
mate.
things. No,
you're a guest. You're a guest here. Jump in.
So, when you had the Book of Boba Fett Tatooine figure, that came in the deluxe pack.
Yeah,
awesome, Lara.
And I'm going to do an awful plug here. I know I did a review on my very fledgling channel, but my point was it didn't come with a VC number, which I thought was good because it couldn't be put in any packaging, if that made sense. I know Tim, obviously at Boss Bounty, Nick, you mentioned all this sort of thing. But I've always been one of these collectors that would like, yes, I want something on card, but I'm also happy to open things. Really, genuinely, I love opening figures, but I also want stuff on card.
I think we all have it like that, don't we, Mike? You know, we have stuff that we keep card and stuff that we open. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, Shabby, if it's just going to come in a box, I think my issue here was I got it in a box. I was doing a video, fine, whatever. And I thought, I've bought the second one and I've spent 27 quid. Why? What am I going to do with that second figure?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
And I know it's a really small point and a minor point, but this is genuinely coming from a collector that, you know, Nick will tell you, you know, I buy multiples of lots of different things. It suddenly made me think, well, have I got this thing here? I've spent £27 on another box thing that I'm never going to open.
Here's another thing for you, Matt. My twin brother has just bought a Return of the Jedi mint on card biker scout from Hollow Chronicles over here, and he's just got it, and he absolutely loves it. He's took him way back. It cost him about £180, basically, and he's had a look at it, and he absolutely loves it. The way I look at it, in 30 years from now, when there's going to be collectors going out, are they going to buy stuff that you're just going to see a cardboard box figure with? Is it going to be the same thing? It's not, is it? You know?
No.
I'm just laying a few things here, fellas, in the chat, and females. Fellas and females. We've got Dr. Afra in the chat there. That's a female. For
and
you.
Neutral gender as well,
neutral,
Nick.
Please. Never assume the gender. And please do subscribe to Mark Shabby Geek, who's started. He's made his first steps into a larger live world. I saw you doing the live. I missed your live stream, Shab. I'm really gutted about that, man.
Oh, I wet myself. I didn't plan
weird,
it.
Isn't it?
I'll just set it up now and seeing that I got over about 45 people came in. So I was so impressed. I thought, thank you all so much. But thanks, yeah. It was
if you don't know Shabby, subscribe to Shabby. If you want to be entertained and like Star Wars, subscribe. And if you like a bit of family banter, do it. That's another reason why. Let's just sort of, yeah, awesome, man. And then brilliant. I love the way it's like a family. It's a family show. Show. And then obviously you've got Mike here. If you like dioramas and reviews and Star Wars 3 3/4 inch, subscribe to Mike. He's the guy who made me the. If I don't say this, he'll kill me. He made he made my Death Star control panel, which is brilliant, which is on my display. So thank you for that, Mike. And then finally, speaking of dioramas, right? It would be a bit rude not to mention Dan Boy, which is Daniel Chott, 99. So do give him a sub as well on the way out or whatever as well. Awesome.
Just quickly, Nick, Brett on Fett just asked me a question in the comments. What am I currently working on at the moment?
There's no time. That's the end of the show. Thanks for coming. Only joking. Yeah.
I've just answered in the chat, but sadly, I'm not working on anything at the moment. There's not enough hours.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that comment to pin it up. Brett on Fett. Hey, I love his voice messages. Hey, only one Brett on Fett here. Yeah,
he's brilliant, isn't he? Brett on Fett. He's superb.
Yeah, great.
Mike, I've just subscribed, my friend. So I've just subscribed to you, Mike.
Nice.
Oh,
sadly not working on anything at the moment, but I'm hoping to get back into some firearm building.
yeah, you should be,
Nice.
Dan. You do too much good stuff.
Unbelievable
Stuff.
talent, a precocious talent in the world of diorama building. And he's a guy who don't do it with no 3D printer. He does it all,
it's all by hand.
Real world. Dare I say, Mike? You can probably Dan. Sorry, even. It's like anything. It's like with CGI. You can tell, can't you? It's not real. But when you make it out of the real world objects, like the sets of the Death Star, how they built that using machine parts and Rolls-Royce engines and stuff, it's real, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, Dan's
on other live streams, they had to use something for that part, and all I have to do is find something similar but smaller.
But don't you drive your wife potty when you're walking around towns and streets looking at bins and stuff?
thinking of bins. Can't believe you just said that.
Not bins, mate. No, I'm not from Liverpool. I'm not a scout.
Hey, don't you go here? Don't you? You can go there, you mother.
Forgive me, I shouldn't say things like that. But
I'd say to Shabby, back me up, but he's a bloody Evertonian. You know what I mean? It's like 3-on-1 here, mate. I can't take it.
Yeah, you picked the wrong panel in here.
all jokes aside, they are a good domestic cup winning team.
Right, let's leave the football talk alone.
30, is it more than 30? Is it 38 points? Whatever. Let's stop there because we'll save that for another. No. We're going to stop. Go on.
We got 58 points. You got 95 points, was it? But neither of us won the league.
Not that many.
92.
Yeah.
Forget it, Dan. Forget it, Dan.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, after this season, I'm not saying a word.
The viewing figures have dropped massively. We're down to 57. Goodbye, people who are not interested. Oh no, we're back up to 59.
Dan, get building some dioramas. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Yes, my wife. Yeah, I do. I'm forever picking up little bits and bobs and examining them, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" And I just see things that other people don't see. If I turn that inside out, or if I stick this on the side of it, or paint it this color, it resembles something to do with Star Wars. So yeah, it's nice.
And just with your channel, Mike, you've been kind of getting through your collection. You've got a really hefty collection of stuff, and you've been opening a lot of it. Did you open? Was it the Lars Homestead not long ago? Was it?
Yeah. No, listen, I can't get to Nick, as you know. Most of my stuff is actually in a lockup, so trying to do videos is really difficult because you're just trying to go and get stuff out and stuff or whatever else. I've enjoyed doing what I've been doing so far.
Yeah,
but,
great, man.
It's all really, it's a lot of the stuff I reviewed is most of the modern stuff and bits and pieces that everybody else is doing, like you guys, Tim and everybody else. So, but I would hope to hopefully eventually go back and get stuff out that's I wouldn't say unique, but more, bit more old school as well. So
yeah.
Well, we'll get there eventually. I'm enjoying it. It's a bit of fun so far.
What have I done? I've created a monster, because I've been saying for ages, get on YouTube and
I know you have.
You're on it now.
But then I can flip that on your head, can't I? Because I always was the one that said to you about vehicles, and you never ever wanted to buy anything, vehicles, creatures, whatever, and you were a purely figure collector, and now you've gone completely bonkers and bought everything in the world.
I'll tell you what I do want next, Michael. I really want that other Y-Wing, the one that's the Clone Wars one, the one that's got the emblem on the side and everything, the one that Anakin flew. I really want that, because that'll go very nicely.
Have you got an image of that, Nick? Which one's with?
I'd have to go trawling on the. Yeah, it just looks like a normal Y-Wing, but it's got more coverings on it, basically, Mike. And it's in the Clone Wars, and they made a figure out of it for 3 3/4 inch. A figure, a vehicle, and someone answer the phone, will they?
It's not me, guys.
but yeah, so that's what I'd love to get that next, because I've got a sweet spot for it next to my what do you call it? The gunship with the clone trooper gunship, right?
Oh yes, that
I'd love
clone.
because it's a clone. It's a Republic vehicle, and it's a fighter, and it's. I love Y-wings, man. It would just be great. It would look nicely parked next to the gunship. So there you are, man.
Just on a separate note, then, just here for Shabby, how would you like that gunship in a 6-inch?
Oh yeah, I'd like anything in 6-inch, to be honest. I mean, like I said it before.
Yeah, but that gunship's quite iconic, especially at the moment with what things are going on.
Yeah.
What they've been showing, obviously, with like
sell a ton of clones
with the 501st attacking the Jedi.
And did they redo Shabby? Did they redo the Phase 1 clone in 6-inch?
Yeah, they have done. Yeah, and it was a Walgreens.
One was crap.
And I think Walgreens exclusive brought out one as well. And that's the thing about Walgreens. Walgreens is it's like boots. It's not a toy. I mean, you are talking a 4-foot
like
section.
a chemist.
That's all it is. And they have exclusive. I mean, the Clone Commander Kenobi was from there, and it was the 501st clone that was there as well. And yeah, that went all right. Yeah, that's a good figure. Not bad. So if you can find them at Walgreens.
Speaking of that Y-wing, by the way, Mike, and God rest him, he's got a review. Oh my good God! Volcanic's Playground. I went on YouTube and he had a video on it, man. But he had such a huge collection of stuff. So there's a few people who've reviewed it, but if you want to see a review, he's got one. Okay. And I say God rest him. We lost him in September this year. It's awful, terrible. Most valued member of the community. But I wanted to bring the stream down. But yeah, no, he's got a great review on it. But it's expensive though, man. On secondary market, it's like, my God, scandalous prices. There's only like one available, and it's I don't know, from in France or something like that. But anyway, yeah. And that is about it, ladies and gentlemen, isn't it? I've done it again. I've killed the chat.
It's been great. It's been great.
It has been awesome.
It's been great being on. Really fantastic.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for being my guests. That is Mark Shabby Geek, Solo Shot First. That's Mike and Daniel Cho, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
And in
Thank you
closing,
for having us on.
I've got a little bit of an outro, ladies and gentlemen, so do stay with us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah. Join us again. I've been only one Kenobi. Only one. Out.